beautiful and handsome people, and welcome back to Uniquely Sorrel. I am Gracelyn Sorrel, and I am so glad to be back to talk to you guys today. So today I have a radio interview. Guys, I am about to begin this interview, and I'm just praying for good health because I'm not feeling well, and I cried on Snapchat today explaining what was going on. So if you don't follow me on Snapchat, go do that thing now. But yeah, we're about to get started now. She is just looking at my bio, and then we're going to start. So yeah, I will link everything in the description box below so you guys can go check out the interview there, the radio interview there. I'm super excited. But like I said, I'm not feeling well, so I'm just praying for God's grace, God's mercy, and that He would just lead my tongue because today's not my day.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Vital Statistics. This is your host, Shemetris Vital, and you are listening to WSL Praise 1490, our youth and young adult talk show. We are well into the new year, which actually I feel like our 2018 has put its roller skates on, and we are fastly moving through this year. If you feel like you have found yourself where you're like, what the heck is going on? Maybe you have not sat down and totally written out your vision. Don't be dismayed because you still have time. I had the opportunity to sit down with a couple of young people just the other day and helping them write out their vision. But we didn't only just write out the vision, but we actually worked on them completing their vision boards for this year. Vision boards are really fun because I think it gives you the opportunity to put things into perspective, to be able to see them, and to consider the next steps. I was not interested in them putting together vision boards where they had all these stuff on the board, like a new phone, a new iPad, a Mac, and all that stuff. We were more interested in what is it that you want out of your future? What do you want to do with your grades in school, and where do you see yourself spiritually and mentally and physically, and then what steps are you going to take? So I hope that just those few little words right there will help you consider what the Bible says in Habakkuk 2:1. I think, I'm not looking at it. It says, write the vision and make it plain that they that read it will run with it. Well, you've got to be the first person to run with your vision. And with that said, I have a guest who has actually been on, I think, at least 2 to 3 times over the last 3 years since I started Vital Statistics. So getting a chance to watch her grow up a little bit, from a distance, but listening to her, and we met, and I guess we've connected, and the Lord has allowed for us to keep in touch. So it is really interesting because we both have similar backgrounds and testimonies. She is years younger than me, but it is wonderful to see how God is using her in her scope and realm of influence. And so I'm going to read to you guys her bio, and then we are going to introduce our guest. And she has this unique name that she calls herself that, you know how you young people are. You have your screen names and everything, Sorrel. So Sorrel is a motivational speaker, YouTube personality, podcaster, and conference host. She is the founder of YouTube channel Uniquely Sorrel, movement Purity on Purpose. Yes, I said Purity on Purpose. Blog and podcast. Unique utterance. She has devoted most of her time to thinking about other people. She donates to causes, volunteers for nonprofit organizations, babysits, and is a proponent for teens and young adults to be who God has called them to be. Hallelujah. In her journey towards excellence, she has received several awards, amongst them the Honorable American Legion Award, and has also served as a vice president of an African American club, a mentor to the Beauty Project, and was a leader of the Grief Group. Sorrel is known for her leadership qualities, compassion, and ability to motivate others to action. At a young age, she recognized that God called her to be different, unique, and set apart, and she aspires to lead generations to purity, light, and purpose. She continues to encourage others with her mantra, focus, inspire, speak, and be unique. So here's a wonderful, beautiful picture of her for those of you guys that will be watching this on video. This is her, this is her, this is her. And then those of you guys that are not joining us on video, you can see her right here on my wonderful chat. I am trying something different. So here she is in real live time on FaceTime. Wave to him and tell him hello.
Hello.
So we've read your bio. Of course, bios tell us about the person. But before we get straight into your purpose and things like that, this is a new year. It's a new you. I think the last time I had you on, you were in high school, right?
Yep. I think I was a sophomore.
Sophomore. And now where are you?
I have graduated from high school now.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you graduated from it has been at least 2.5 years. Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So I've had you on, so different times. So you graduated high school, been able to watch you do some of your podcasts and things like that and so forth. So what is let's talk about, if you don't mind. Got somebody in. So see, that's what happens when you have natural things online. Even though I put it on Do Not Disturb, phone calls still try to come in.
Oh,
my
wow.
God. So anyway, so tell us about 2018 for you. What is your expectation? What is your outlook? What is your thoughts about 2018 as far as yourself and the people that God has you around right now?
Yes. So 2018 is really a year for me that inspires me to do whatever it takes. The Lord was speaking to me at the end of 2017 and put on my heart that this is going to be the year that I'll do whatever it takes to accomplish any goals that I have and accomplish.
We can't hear you.
Oh, you can't? Oh, no.
Okay, the Lord was speaking to you about 2018 and what?
And He put on my heart to do whatever it takes. In this new year. Can you hear me? Okay, in this new year. So I was like, okay, Lord, what does that mean? What does that look like? And so now that I'm in this new year, it looks like sacrifice, and it looks like writing that vision and putting it into fruition and allowing God to breathe on it. And so I have been sick. I'm going to be transparent. I've been sick with an infection for 3 months now. But I'm going under a procedure in a couple of days, but I'm like, okay, God, how am I going to be sick and do whatever it takes? Like, that's kind of impossible. Like, I've been in bed, not feeling well, and, how am I ever going to execute this thing? And He just told me just to trust Him and just to do what I know I can do with His power. And so really my word for 2018 is to do whatever it takes.
Do whatever it takes. So that means that no matter what mountain you got to climb, what barrier you have to cross, what strongholds you have to encounter, you've got to do whatever it takes.
Absolutely, yes.
And how old are you?
I'm 18.
18 years old, yes. Whatever it takes.
Yes.
So in the mindset of an 18-year-old who is pursuing God, you're praying and you're like, okay, God, you said whatever it takes. What does that encompass for you? Like, okay, you said, okay, I've had an infection for a couple of months, different things like that, so I'm dealing with that. How do you persevere through that? Because it's easy at a young age, and even at my age, we're just like, you know what? No, I'm not doing all this. And
right.
Young people don't stay in it for the fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that it really takes focus, and it takes prayer and fasting, because without focus, it's easy to look to your left and to your right and look at what everybody else is doing. But when you know that God has called you to be unique and called you to be set apart from this world, I can now say, okay, He's given me the strength and He's given me the gift to do whatever it takes. And so if I just stay focused on that I was placed on this earth for such a time as this, in my own purpose and in my own calling, I can remember and I can know with confidence that God is on my side and that He wants to see me do it all, and He's given me the strength to do it.
That's very good. The strength to do it. And to hear you at 18 say, that requires some prayer and some fasting.
Yes.
So I can't remember at 18 if I was praying and fast. I think 18 was around the age that I realized that I was hearing the voice of God.
Yeah.
And my own voice. So at 18 years old, the world is open to you. Your eyes are open. You know, everything for you is just like, oh my God, there's so much I can do. I'm grown now. You know,
Right.
that kind of. How do you stay centered in that?
I think knowing that, like, as an individual, I have my own identity, and I'm not determined, and I'm not I don't identify with the world. And so I was literally set apart to be my own person, to be Sorrel. And I think that we have to look at, we can't look at the world all the time. We have to stay focused on just our hearts and who we really are, because it's so easy to look at everything on social media and compare yourself and be like, okay, I want to look like her, or I want hair like him, and I want tattoos and piercings and all of that, just to keep up with what everybody else is doing. But if you're trying to keep up with everybody, you're going to get really tired and you're going to get drained, and
Wow.
it's not going to end well. And so to stay centered, I have to know where my help comes from, really, because I can't even do it by myself, because this world is crazy and there's a lot going on around me that you see on social media and in your friends' lives and in your everyday lives. And so I stay centered by just knowing that my help comes from the Lord. So yeah.
So you know that your help comes from the Lord, and obviously at your age, there's so much going on with social media. How do you manage that? How are you, like, okay, you've spent enough time out there, and then you are a blogger, you do podcasts, you do video, you do all of that stuff. So how do you stay focused with, even though, okay, I know that my help comes from the Lord, God is, my direction, He's my lead. But how do you not let that overtake your life? Because even, I'm sure you've seen it, adults have a hard time staying focused with all this stuff. So what do you do? Like, I'm guessing you don't get up with the phone in your hand anymore, right?
Well, I mean, to be honest, okay, I open my eyes in the morning, and I don't pray when I get up. I literally get on Facebook. Like, I'm going to be completely honest.
Okay.
But God has made a way to the point where when I do get on Facebook, He gives me like a word for somebody, because it is all this chaos going on. And if I see somebody half dressed, I'm like, okay, this is pushing me further to inspire even more and to say our bodies are temple. And so let's stay modest. Like, so even seeing those things, it inspires me to stay focused, because the world is so out of focus. And to keep that focus, a big part of it is listening to the right music. It's huge, and staying grounded and knowing that inspirational music will really protect your ear gates, because we even hear all this cursing and like World Star and all these different things that our ears are open to, but we have to make sure that our ear is inclined to what the Lord is saying and not to what the world is saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So you realize, like, it's so funny listening to you. You're 18. I'm 39, and listening to you, it's just like, man, I kind of remember like being in that space, and still am, realizing that you've been set apart, you're different. Everything that you do is not going to fit into the box of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And you might get talked about it. It's probably a little harder now with whole social media, things like that, but you've got to stand firm on the things that you believe.
Yeah.
And staying focused. So to hear you talk about, that you have social media, but I wrote down in my notes, because I'm taking notes, guys, just in case you're wondering. Taking notes that I basically summed it up as that you are using social media as a platform to help stay focused, but at the same time, it's a place where you find that when you're reading things that are going on, Lord, what's the word that you can give me to give to someone else?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
So I think that's really purposeful and very interesting, especially at 18. So if we reverse the clock just a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
at go to like 16, 17 years old, and as you are really walking out that journey of understanding who you are, but also you seem like you were pretty popular in school, at least from the pictures that I saw. You were pretty involved in things
Yeah.
like pretty girl. So what is the conversation like, especially going into that senior year? And it's like, okay, no, I'm not. This is not what I'm doing on prom night. A lot of young ladies
Mm-hmm.
prom night as like, which I don't understand. It's like their wedding night.
Right.
I
Yes.
don't.
That's
So
crazy.
your classmates, I'm sure, knew where you stood, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you do that, and how did you stay focused on that? And now, because being in a young adult life is much different than being in high school. With high school is just hard. The
Yeah.
bullying, people are mean. They are just straight out mean. So
Yeah.
how did you take that from being in high school, staying focused in that, and saying, I'm not going to let this tear me down? That when I got to 18, I'm now on the straight and narrow. So what was it like, especially in the last year? Because you've been out of high school now. This is 2018. So you've been out almost a year, right?
Almost, yeah.
A year. So like that last year in high school and people knowing where you stood, what was that like? And what were conversations that maybe you've had or whatever?
Yeah, so at first, I'll go back to when I was 16 and I didn't know what my future held and I was trying to figure it all out. Like, okay, what is my purpose? What is purpose even?
Okay.
I was like, why am I alive? Why am I in school? And I was just really confused as to what life like was handing me. And so I just decided one day, no, I didn't decide actually. I'll start with this. My mom and I were riding in the car one day and we were talking about college and I was basically like, Mom, I'm going to have sex in college. Me and my mom are like so chill and we're best friends. And she's like, all she said was why. She just asked me that question, why? And I was like, that's a good question. Like, why would I give my body to all these guys that I don't know, that aren't even worth it, and that aren't my husband? And so after that question, I went to school and I was basically kind of like promoting that question, like, hey guys, I'm not having sex and you shouldn't either. Because I mean, I didn't really have wisdom back then either. I was just kind of like, hey guys, you should do this with me. And and so everybody looked at me like I was crazy. They were like, yeah, first of all, I'm not even a virgin anymore. And second, how are you going to do that? Like, you're never going to conquer and you're never going to be able to wait because it's just so hard. And when you get to college, there are a lot of cute guys and all that. But I'm like, okay, you're right, but I trust God. And so I had to get to a point where I stopped worrying about what everybody else was saying and comparing myself to what everybody else was doing because I really wanted to have sex and I wanted to do everything that everybody else was doing, but I just knew like deep down that there was just something different about me. And so one day my friend actually asked me, are you really doing this? Like, you're really going through with this? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you should start a YouTube channel, like sharing your purity and sharing your journey. And I'm like, oh snap, like I never thought about that. And I was like, okay, let me kind of take a poll on who else would watch this. And there were a couple people that were like, absolutely not. Like, I would never watch that. That's so stupid. Of course, you're going to have the haters because the haters are your motivators. But I finally started my YouTube channel, and I mean, people are really inspired by it. And I'm actually surprised because I didn't think that especially people my age would be interested in hearing about purity and something that's in a world where we're so against purity. But I know that deep down we're all wanting a better life. And so I think that's why people are attracted to purity, even if they don't admit it.
Right. So you've had to do your research. If you're just now tuning in, we're almost to the end of our first segment here on Vital Statistics, our new year, new you, whatever you want to call it. I am interviewing a young lady from, are you in Chicago? Where are you at?
The suburbs of Chicago.
The suburbs of Chicago.
Yes.
Interviewing her, and the discussion is called Purpose on Purity on
Purity
Purpose.
on Purpose, yeah.
Purity on Purpose. And we're going to talk more about that, but just kind of getting to know her right now and why she has decided at 18, 16, whatever, at her age that, you know what? It's okay for me to be different. It's okay for me to hold on to my virginity because this is what I believe God is doing in my life. She talked about being focused. She said what's very interesting where we have just kind of ended was one question basically changed her focus. At 16 years old, she said she was riding in the car with her mom, and she just told her mom, hey, when I get to college, I'm going to have sex. I'm going to lose my virginity. And her mother asked her why, and she said, wow, she had never thought about why, but in that question, that led her to taking that question and moving it forward with her classmates and making it known to her class and to her friends and asking them to join her in moving forward on purity. And then she was inspired by a friend that told her to start a YouTube channel, talk about your own life, your own story, and this has brought her to where she is now. So as we move into the last part of the show, and then when we come back on the second half, we're going to talk about definitely the platform that she's speaking from and what she's doing at 18 years old. She's graduated from high school. We'll talk about a little bit about what she's doing now, and then we'll get into more on the second half of what God is moving her to pursue and why. So you're listening to WSL Praise 1490, our youth and young adult talk show, Vital Statistics. I'm your host, Shemetris Vital, and my guest today is Uniquely Surreal. So you can find her on YouTube, and actually I was trying to pull that up. What is it on YouTube, just so my people on video can see it?
Yes, my YouTube is Uniquely Sorrell. UNIQUELYSORRELL.
Okay, there it is. I've watched some of her videos. There she goes right here. So if you want to subscribe to her channel, she's got 83 videos here, guys. So 2 days ago she did I completely lost my voice and I didn't get celebrated. So yes. That might be interesting. A year ago, she's got a couple other ones. My Addiction, Social Media, episode 1. Year ago, some things. I remember the last time I was watching you redecorate your room. So she's got a lot of things online. But hey, go in, follow her again. That is, say it.
Uniquely Sorrell.
UNIQUELYSORRELL. So this is her, for those of you that are watching on video. So since I've pulled this up, why did you choose Uniquely Surreal? Where'd that come from?
Good question. I'm trying to remember now. I think I remember just sitting in my room one day, like after my friend asked me to start this YouTube channel. And I was like, what's the name for it? I was really like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know how to do YouTube. I'm not big on social media. And so I was just sitting, and God told me that I'm unique and I'm different. And so I just went with Uniquely Sorrell, and Sorrell is my middle name, so.
Oh, I swear we must be sisters way from somewhere. I don't know it, because that was always when I created my very first company. It was difference and change. You know, it's like my mom told me when I was younger. She's like, you're unique and you're different. So it's how God brings things back around, and just letting you know that the work is not in vain and the steps that you take is not in vain. And so I think this is really interesting to sit here and be able to talk with you about these things, because at 18, that was when I began hearing God's voice in my life. It was like, he's talking to me.
Yes.
He's calling me.
Right.
So with the last couple of minutes of the show, you graduated high school. What are you doing now? Like, I don't, it could be college, it could be trade school. I don't know. What are you doing now with your life?
Well, I'm actually just living in my purpose, and I was not expecting to even do that. But it all started because um, since 8th grade, I had a dream to attend Columbia College Chicago. And I wanted to go, and I wanted to be a makeup artist first, and then I wanted to be a TV personality or host. And I really wanted to go to Columbia to perfect that craft. And throughout high school, I I began to discover my purpose and discover what I love to do, which was to inspire. And so I was like, I'm going to go to Columbia. And so I got accepted to Columbia, and I was like super excited, and everything was kind of worked out except the money part. There was a little bit more money I had to spend, but everything was working out. And then I think in May or June, God kind of just interrupted those plans, and nothing was working out. Like, nobody was answering my calls. I went up to the school, and like they were closed. It was just roadblocks in the way of me trying to get into my dream school.
Oh, wow.
And I was like so confused. I cried myself to sleep, like, Lord, I really want to do this. I really want to go to this school. And so then I began comparing myself to people, like, okay, now it's August and everybody is in school and I'm not. Like, what am I going to do? I need to get an education. And my mom was my encouragement, like, don't compare yourself, just keep doing YouTube, keep doing what you know to do. And so that's just what I did, and now I'm here today. Still not in school, but I am pursuing purpose, which is beginning this conference, my first ever conference on purity, and doing whatever it takes to be consistent on YouTube, because previously I was not consistent. And
it's hard, girl. It's hard.
It's hard. Like, seriously, it's difficult. But I've made myself a schedule, and I'm planning. And I'm starting my own podcast as well, and my own blog. And so I'm just trying to execute and, like you said, use my social media as a platform so I can pursue and fulfill this purpose.
Wow. Okay, so pursue prayer purpose, doing whatever it takes. So understanding that school might not have been meant for at this moment, but maybe God allowing you to put some things in perspective so that when you get on campus, you are a light and you've got some things actually set in place, maybe, you know.
Right.
Of course, when we look at our plan, we're like, okay, I'm supposed to do A, B, C, D, and E, F. And God's like, well, you're going to do H, I, then A, then C, then G, and it's just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You know, flips the script and you go at it
yeah.
you know, backwards. It's very interesting, but that's good. So are you working? Are you able to work, or what are you doing?
I don't have a 9-to-5, but I do babysit. And I'm even trusting God on that to be my provider, because I don't feel like I'm called to a job right now, because I have all this going for me and my purpose, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I used to work at Popeyes, and I quit within like a week because it just was not for me. And I was like, what am I doing putting chicken in a basket for these people? And I mean, it's for some people, but it just was not for me. And that's when I really dove into my purpose and found, like, that's not what I'm meant to do, at least not right now. So yeah.
And so it sounds like you've got a good support network. So your mom is supporting you in your venture, and of course, I'm sure that would not be supported if she didn't see you putting forth the effort.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, she's definitely a woman that sees the effort and sees the work, and so she supports that. Because if I were just sitting here like, I don't want to go to college, and just whining about
for young people doing their thing in the kingdom. So you've heard it first. This has been a blessed show. Purity on purpose.
Yes, pop.
Pop. So purity on purpose. That's what it's about. I have enjoyed having you. I'm elated to see how God is using you and how He's motivating you. And I wish nothing but success. I hope to have your around, and guys, maybe we'll have her back, because in this year we're having a little fun by bringing in a couple of the young people here and there to help co-host with me. So to have some different voices and some different mindsets, I am opening up this radio platform to have the opportunity to bring your juice to the radio, because that's what it's all about, is that the kingdom suffered violence and the violence take it by force. So that's who we are. We've got to take this kingdom by force if we're going to win this fight, and we can't do it alone. So hopefully she will join us back in this year co-host. So any last words?
Just thank you for having me. I always enjoy you and your spirit and your heart. And just be sure, guys, if you're listening, be decided. Don't be like the world, because you don't have to. Keep your focus, inspire those around you, speak your mind, and always be unique.
Be unique.
Yes.
All right, everyone, that is it. You'll hear the prompt at the end of the show. You can follow her from my website. Take care and have a blessed week.
All right, guys, so that was some of the interview. I'm so excited that you were able to come with me and experience with me. It was just an amazing, amazing time once again with host Shemetris Vital. I will leave all of her things in the description box below. As you can see, I can't talk without coughing, so I'm going to have to end this. But amazing interview. Enter in my giveaway for my podcast. Don't forget that. The link is is below. And I will see you guys next time. And do not forget to focus, inspire, speak, and be unique, because you all are. I love you so much. And also do not forget to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also share with others so that they can be inspired.